Hey guys, I've been meaning to make this video for a long time and I didn't get around to it before Miss the Pen area came out, and I apologize for that. This video is about user interface. It's about an add-on that I use, and you know, it's really not a great idea to be modifying your user interface during progression, because it causes you to get a little bit off kilter and you end up making mistakes related to your user interface instead of to the fight mechanics. So you know, whatever, I'm sorry I didn't get it out earlier. But anyway, today what I want to show you guys is the add-on that I use to control my priorities and indicate to me what my cooldowns are. So what you can see here in the center of my screen, this is the add-on that I use. This is a custom add-on that I created myself. I'm a professional software developer by day, so writing a couple of Lua scripts is really not particularly challenging. So what this is here is, it's not actually an action bar, so I can click all day long here and it doesn't do anything. These are just icons similar to power auras, but they're a little bit more structured. As you can see, these icons represent the priority of spells you ought to cast, and so it's essentially kind of like ShockAndAwe. Now, since 5.0, the author of ShockAndAwe has decided to discontinue the add-on. So if you're looking for a replacement, this one might work. I'm going to add it to Curse so that you all can download it. I am going to give you one quick disclaimer here. This is not particularly customizable. In fact, there is no configuration at all. Any configuration you want to do to modify any way that this works is has to be done by hand editing the Lua file for now. If I get, let's say, I don't know, 1,000 downloads of my add-on, then I'll consider creating a configuration UI. But obviously, since this is a personal UI add-on that I created for myself, I don't really have a huge impetus to update it. But I'm going to put it out there because I feel like you might want it. So you see these 6 icons from left to right. The leftmost one is the spell that I should cast first, and the one to the far right, which is, as you can see, dimmed a little bit, is what I should be casting 6th. These blocks up here on the left-hand side are maelstrom weapon procs, and they actually stack from right to left. So as you gain maelstrom stacks, these will highlight, as you will see. Over here, on the right-hand side, these are the Searing Flame stacks, and they're represented as 5 blocks. Next to it is whether or not Flame Shock is on the current target. It's dimmed right now, which means it is not. Over here, this is the Fire Nova cooldown. Fire Nova is one of those off-rotation abilities that you use only in AE situations, and so it's important to know when it's on cooldown, but you don't really want to inject it into your single target priority, because it's the kind of thing where it's very situational whether you want to use it or not. So that's basically the only thing this UI does. Now, the text here, S-1 and S-2, these are keyboard binding hints. And the reason that I added them is not because I don't know my key bindings. It's just that over the years I've gotten so used to seeing them there that when they're not there, for some reason it just bothers me, and I prefer to see them there. So the thing to keep in mind here is that this add-on doesn't have anything to do with bindings of any kind. My bindings for all these abilities are all done through dominoes. I have all my action bars over here. This one here, this number 1, these are the actual action bars, and if you have seen some of my previous videos, this is what my UI used to look like. I just took this action bar and I threw it here in the center, and I manually watched all these different cooldowns. And I found that was just not... It wasn't as effective as I wanted it to be, because I kept making errors. Not a huge number of them, but enough that it irritated me. So I decided to write my own add-on for priorities. So I'm going to show you how this works. We're going to get into combat here, and as you can see, the first 2 priority lists they're showing me is Wind Fury weapon and Flame Tongue weapon, and the reason is because I don't have those on my weapons currently. So when I cast them, you can see they move away, and now the leftmost icon here is telling me that I ought to be casting my totem. So if I drop Searing Flames totem, that icon goes away, it knows my totem is up, and that's great. The add-on will not bug you about totems unless you have either Magma Totem, Fire Elemental Totem, or Searing Flames Totem down. So basically, if you have any Fire Totem down, it will not bug you. Now, because I am using Unleashed Fury as my level 90 talent, okay, Because of this, Unleash Elements actually becomes your most important ability to cast. So cast that. Because I have 5 stacks of Maelstrom, as you can see, all 5 bars are lit up. It's telling me to do Lightning Bolt. Now Storm Strike. Now Lava Lash. Now one thing to note is you'll notice that my Searing Flames stacks are not lighting up. Why? Well, because watch my Searing Flames totem. It's not actually attacking the Raider's target dummy. This has been a long-standing problem with Searing Flames, specifically on target dummies. How do you get that to work? Well, let's put on Flame Shock. And now all of a sudden, oh look, it Flame Shocks, and that started to attack. So now you can see the Searing Flame stacks building up, and now that they're full, you'll notice that my priority has changed again because Searing Totem just went away. So I'm just going to run a quick little rotation here. And it's this simple. Now, the other icons here, up above here, these are all just power auras, as well as this Ascendance button. These are not part of the add-on. And the reason that I didn't make them part of the add-on is because they change a lot. For example, this icon right here, that is my Flashing Steel Talisman. You won't always have an on-use trinket available. Sometimes you'll be equipping them and sometimes you won't. And so I don't want my my stock UI, my standard add-on to track that stuff, because then I would have to manually add it every time to the add-on to the Lua, and it would be annoying. It's easier to control that with power auras, and it'll let you customize it a little bit more. And so what I've done is I've created little power auras, and basically all these are, I'll show you really quick, these are just action usable. So the icon appears if the action usable. Power auras is incredibly bugged, as you'll notice. When you are trying to create the auras, they won't show up until you reload the UI. It's just, I don't know. A lot of people are switching to weak auras as opposed to power auras, and you know, I'm just a long time power auras user, so I don't see a need to switch. It still does what I want it to do. And basically that's it. Now, you might be asking, what about totem tracking? Well, you notice this is my player frame right here where my mouse is, and there's a black bar underneath it. Watch what happens when I put down a fire totem. You see this red block. I'll put down Storm Lash as well. There's Storm Lash, white bar. There's my water totem, blue bar, and I don't know, let's put down Earth Elemental, and that's my green bar. So I use these as my totem trackers. In reality, you don't really need totem trackers anymore. It's just not necessary these days. You don't have buff totems that you need to keep worrying about whether or not they're up, so it's really kind of a secondary issue. The only reason that you put them up at all is because you might want to have an idea of when, you know, fire elemental is about to wear off. But my add-on will actually predict that for you, so it will show you when you put down Searing Flames. When this timer gets low, you can see Searing Flames is currently 6th on my priority, so I should cast that basically because nothing else is available. Now, the thing to keep in mind here is that this does not actually replace all your decision making. You still have to make decisions. One of the decisions that you will need to make is when to use hard casting of a Maelstrom proc. So right now I'm going to use Unleash Elements, and I'm about to get 3 Maelstrom procs. It's better to cast Lightning Bolt at 3 stacks if you have the Unleash Flame buff, where it buffs your Lightning Bolt by 30%. So generally speaking, you know, I haven't codified that into the add-on yet. Theoretically I could, but that's one of those things where it probably changes patch to patch. So also, you know, whether or not to cast Lightning Bolt is really it's a decision that you need to make, because it's based on like whether or not you have other abilities on cooldown. So for example, if you have Lava Lash right now is on a 2-second cooldown, so you know it makes sense to hard cast a Lightning Bolt. But in this situation, I'm just going to sit here for a second. You'll see I still have Storm Strike available, so it would be stupid for me to hard cast a Lightning Bolt when I have these 2 instants that I could pop right now. So you know, I can't make those decisions for you that easily in the add-on, so I'm not going to. So I'm just going to sit here and auto attack, and I'm going to take a couple screenshots of the code itself, because if you want to change any of this stuff, since there's no configuration, it's important that I show you how to do that. You cannot move this bar permanently. You can move it if you drag, and you can do that while you're in combat, as you can see, but the position of this this bar initially, whenever you reload the UI, it's going to return to where it came from originally. Console reload UI. Let's see this really quick. but you'll see now it's back to where it was, even though I moved it over here. And the reason for that is because, as you can probably guess with my power auras and my unit frames and everything, I basically built the location of this into the add-on because this is where I want it to be. And because this this frame right here is centered based on the screen, I can center everything else on my screen based around this thing. So if you want to move it permanently to fit your UI better, you need to modify the Lua, and I'm going to show you a couple screenshots now of how to do that. So bear with me for a moment while I find this here, and you can just watch me auto attack while I do that. Okay, so here we go. So there's only two files in this add-on. There's core.lua, and then there's a TOC file, which is basically a table of contents file that indicates, it tells WoW how to load that. So the first couple, let me show you. I'll take a screenshot of this screenshot. Okay. So I've commented the code a little bit so that you can modify things. The main thing that you're going to want to modify down here is this that I've highlighted. And essentially what this is the priority list for Unleashed Fury. The numbers can be anything you want. As you can see, I started with -2 and I went up all the way to 9, but you can do whatever you want. Notice that I have EE listed here as one of the options as Earth Elemental. That's actually not included in the bar. I actually removed that because I found it to be annoying. I used to use it in tier 14, or excuse me, tier 13 when it was still just a DPS cooldown, but now it isn't anymore, so I've removed it from the rotation, so it won't show up in the bar. But basically, if you want to modify the order in which these things appear, the priority, you can do so. LB stands for Lightning Bolt, and that implies a 5 stack of Maelstrom. I currently don't have any options to show you a Lightning Bolt for a hard cast. I might include that in a version again. If enough people download this mod and want to use it, then I will start working on it again for real. I've created this priority list as well for Elemental Blast. It's currently inactive, and the way you can do that is, actually I believe Elemental Blast will work. I'm not 100% sure. Actually, yes, it will. It's this code right here. It will work if you use Elemental Blast, but it's Unleashed Fury is a stronger talent, so you shouldn't really use it. If you want to move the location of the bar, let me figure out where it's So this line right here, this is line 483. This is how you modify where the location is. And basically the way this works is, you see these two numbers at the end, 0 and -200. Those are offsets from the center. -200 will move the bar down, +200 will move it up, and this is in pixels, so keep in mind what your resolution is on your screen. You know, if you're using 1920 by 1280, then those are the maximum number of dimensions. And remember, because this is offset from the center, you're going to have a maximum value of half of that. So 1980 divided by 2 is, what, 840? No, 990. So 990 will be your maximum positive and negative values for X, and 1280 will be, you know, 640 will be positive and negative axes on those values. So that's how you would set that, and other than that, this is not customizable. One more thing, I almost forgot. The keyboard hints, this is on line 57. You can change these to match your bindings. You can also, if you would prefer not to show them at all, you can replace all of these values just to be 2 pairs of empty quotes. So something like, let's make the quotes look like that. That's the empty string. So just use that if you want them to hide them. Otherwise, you can set these texts to whatever you want, but keep in mind that the text is small. There's probably only 4 or 5 letters maximum that you'll be able to fit in there, and that's that. So basically, this is how I control my priority. It's the add-on that I've been using for a while. I have produced top 200 parses on every single fight in Dragon Soul, I think with the exception of Madness. Maybe I did get Madness, I don't remember. During Dragon Soul Heroic Progression, and so far I am ranking in the top 50 on every single fight. with this add-on, partially because there aren't that many guilds that have killed Elegon, but basically it works really well, and if you're looking for a place to start for an Enhancement Shaman and you're trying to learn the rotation, this add-on will probably help you quite a bit. But anyway, that's all, as this video's gone long enough, but I just wanted to share this with all of you guys, and I hope you enjoy it. Tell your friends, download it. One more thing, keep in mind that I work full-time and I raid a lot of the time as well, so I don't really have a huge amount of time to work on this add-on. So if you find bugs or issues, I know there are a couple. One in particular that I know about is that sometimes in Battlegrounds the totem detection does not work properly. And basically it'll tell you to keep dropping a totem even if you have a totem down. I'm not sure why that is, but it is what it is. I'm not going to fix that probably because it doesn't bother me that much. Also, just keep in mind too that this this add-on is tied to your spec. It will not load unless you are an Enhancement Shaman. So if you are a less than level 10 Shaman who has not picked Enhancement, or you switch specs to Elemental or something, this add-on should not load. So anyway, that's all. The link is in the info to download this guy, and I don't know, enjoy. Have fun, guys.